I've been around a few years and I've noticed that when every time we get a change in government or there's a government reshuffle, we get someone else in the departments who come from different walks of life, and all of a sudden they're instant experts on what they do. I'd like to ask the people on the stage, what experience and qualifications have you got to be an MP? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And continuing in our rotation, Freddie, this is your question to answer first.
My qualification to be a competent, effective, honest, hard-working politician is that I'm not a politician. A few years ago I considered it absurd, the proposition that the people is. What has driven me to it is a sense of need. A sense of anger, but controlled anger at what's happened, because a lot of it has happened not through malice, but through failure to understand, failure to recognize, failure to analyze fully, failure to rationally think, a failure to distrust the media, which is controlled by a few very rich, very wealthy people, none of whom like UKIP, by the way. What are my qualifications? I have first-class honours degrees in physics and mathematics. I have qualifications with distinction in accountancy. Are these relevant? They make me approach problems analytically, which is what led me to UKIP. My main qualification, I think, is that, like Margaret Thatcher, I only need 3.5 hours sleep a night. That is useful. Thank you.
Then, how about yourself, please?
Blow my own trumpet. I think, essentially, that I've, in the course of my activity as a socialist and as a trade union, I've shown a consistent and have a consistent record of fighting for the underdog, for not flinching in the face of powerful employers in relation to the work balance of being there for the worker, for the migrant worker. I've been involved and have a consistent record of telling the truth in relation to the state of relations within the economy. That where it's not popular, and when I'm in a minority of one, I will explain that really we can have a democratic, socialist, planned economy where dignity and respect is afforded to everybody. And I think that is something that runs through my daily life, my commitment to the NHS, and to a struggle internationally for a peaceful world with a democratic, planned and just society.
Thank you, Ned. That's not finally the other three. You'll get a chance. Just your final opportunity to speak, Rebecca.
My final opportunity to speak. My genuine horror at entering Parliament, I think, qualifies me brilliantly. I would take it incredibly seriously because of that. I have an ability to listen and hear anyone that I'm talking to. I worked for a while with the Citizens Advice Bureau. I've worked with a lot of different voluntary organisations. I've met a lot of different kinds of people from lots of different walks of life. I can hear you and I can represent you. And then 2 or 3 times I've been emailed in this campaign, and I've realised how very important it is to be able to hear and represent, because I have not agreed with every person that's emailed me, and I would find it very difficult to represent some of those things that people have emailed me about. But I would have to, and if enough people were going to tell me that that's what they thought I should do, I would need to do it. So I need to put a lot of my own thoughts sometimes aside. I can do it. I'm not very bright, and I very clearly want to know why something is, how it is, before I make a decision about it. And in that way, I'm also then able to explain what I am doing to other people, and I think that is really important, to be able to explain things.
Thank you very much indeed. And your response to this final question.
I'm not a professional politician. I haven't done the Oxbridge researcher, go straight in to be an MP. I've got life experience. I'm a parent of 2 children. I've been a primary school teacher. I've been an educational visitor visiting the homes of preschool children. I've been a teacher of children with special educational needs. so I know how difficult it is for some children to earn any qualifications. As a mature student, I did a law degree, and then I worked citizens advice, advising people on all kinds of issues. I'm passionate about fairness, and I'd like to see more fairness in our society.
Thank you for that, and Lisa, your final opportunity to speak this evening.
I left school at 16. I worked in a factory for 9 years on those types. I then worked in shops. I then worked in hospitals, in women's hospitals. I went to university as a 31-year-old. So probably I'm not got the quite right qualifications to be an MP anyway. I didn't go to Oxford or Cambridge. I've never been anybody's personal advisor. I don't know what to be. And it would be very, I'll be really honest, it would be very difficult for me to be an MP because I believe when you're an MP you have to swear allegiance to the Queen.
In terms of the fact that I was born here and we went from a very poor family, frankly, in a one-bedroom flat, and my parents worked very hard in the constituency to give me a comfortable life because I understand what many aspirational families are like in this area. But more importantly, I think I appreciate Chingford and Woodford Green in that it's not one constituency, it's actually four. We've got Hymes Park, South Chingford, North Chingford and Woodford Green, all of which have very, very different communities and actually different needs, and we often don't talk about that enough. And so I'm always aware of it to try and almost put a different hat on and try and build those communities up a bit more. And actually no one's ever really talked about that. It's probably the fault of the fact that two councils are over one of each other. And finally, it's about belief. As I said at the beginning of this Hustings, mine is all about narrowing inequality, and that's the sole driver of what I'm doing.
Could you give a round of applause for all 6 candidates who've been here? Thank you all for coming. I'd also like to thank the team of people who helped put it together tonight. It's not a large team. As I mentioned before, we have been able to use this hall free of charge, but if you could make a donation towards the refurbishment of Beale as you leave, you'll find a collecting box by the double doors as you leave. Can we just move it to the middle there, please, Peter? Thank you. And if a few people would take away some of these flyers.